Hello everyone. Today is going to be that I'm recording from my phone. I'm not going to show my whole head. I don't like this camera. Doing a bookshelf tour based off of what I own, what I have, that nature. I'm just going to get right into it. So top shelf, you got, let me move that. You got The Art and Craft of Novel Writing by Oakley Hall. Here's some books of poetry. You got Lucy Brock Broido's The Master Letters, J. Bailey Hutchinson's Gut, Book of Poems. A lot of poetry up here. I mean, kind of, not really. That's like the last book of poetry up here. I got Hayden Carruth's collected shorter poems. Never quite actually dove into this, but I do like some of Hayden Carruth's poems. Got Wallace Stegner, Big Rock Candy Mountain. Never read that. I bought it like several months ago, and I haven't gotten to it yet. One of my favorite kind of like sci-fi books is A Canticle for Leibowitz. A lot of biblical references, a lot of Latin, kind of just in a weird way. It's like the story of if everything just ended and we restarted. Next up, you got Meetings with Remarkable Manuscripts by Christopher de Hemel, if that's how you say that. Just a book recapping the history of like older manuscripts. Like I stopped on the pages about, what is it called? The Morgan Beatus, I think. Oh, come on. Yeah, which I don't know. There's a really old St. Augustine's Book of Gospels. Not that St. Augustine wrote them, but like owned the book. Next we got Yukio Mishima's Confessions of a Mask. And yes, that is duct tape holding it together. This is just like a journal of mine. I got Wallace Stegner and a Continental Vision, a book of essays edited by Kurt Miney. Just a bunch of Wallace Stegner centric things about the West and water usage and things of that nature. Haven't read this book yet, but the next book I got is a very interesting book. It is A Guardian Angel Recalls by Archipelago Press. Haven't read it yet, but I like how it's just like a square. I mean, like I'll put it down, like look at that. Next I got A Midsummer Night's Dream by Shakespeare. Read that, love that play. Then I actually have a Bleach volume that I bought and cannot read because I used to take Japanese classes and I struggled. But this is actually in Japanese, if it'll focus. There you go. It's in Japanese. I have the, what's it called? In Remembrance of Time, Marcel Proust collection, and I have only read like half of Swan's Way. I feel like there's a lot of booktubers that have this and they actually just don't ever get around to reading it, which is fine. I'm one of them. I feel like they're super dense, but maybe it's just supposed to be kind of like dream-like and just one moment to the other. Haven't read this yet, but next I got Jane Austen's Persuasion. Haven't cracked it yet. I think this is one of the more recent books I've bought. Yeah, I'm excited. And next I have John Milton's Paradise Lost. I've read a little bit of Paradise. I think I've read books 1 through 5 of Paradise Lost. My cats are knocking stuff over. This happens every time. I'm looking forward to continuing this though. I might do a little bit of studying before I break into it, like in terms of the biblical side of things. But I'm excited to see that. Then I got 2 books. A Gathering of Old Men and Of Love and Dust by Ernest Gaines. Ernest Gaines is kind of one of my relatively newer favorite authors. He writes a lot about like race relations in the South, like in the 20th century. The 2 books I've read of him, I think are both set in the 60s or 70s, but don't quote me on that. I suggest anybody who wants to read like an African-American author, look here. I got Cervantes, Don Quixote, Edna St. Vincent Millay's Selected Poems, Twelfth Night by Shakespeare. One of my favorite books is Orlok by Oakley Hall. Recommend that. I think it's one of the only books that Thomas Pynchon himself has blurbed. I actually am reading Twilight. I've seen a bunch of the movies through my girlfriend, and I've never read the book. So someone from work is lending me the book. Wallace Stegner's Collected Stories. I've read one story. They're really cool. One of my favorite books of the last couple years is I have this really abominable Netflix cover, but Frankenstein's the 1818 text. Probably one of the more original, one of the first like we are the real monsters kind of books. Diary of a Man in Despair. This is about World War II, a man that lives in Germany as it's being taken over by the Nazi regime. Relevant. This is a book called Runaway Slaves. It's kind of like a more academic text. It's from the Oxford Press, so it's exactly what it sounds like. It talks about all the methods slaves used to run away and all the stuff they do to their masters when they were caught. Because some of them would just like straight up kill their master and run away just to get caught again, just to kill even more people. You got Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, great text. You got John Williams of Stoner fame, his collection of English Renaissance poetry. Beowulf, this is the dual language edition with the kind of Anglo-Saxon and then regular English on the other side. Regular English, that's probably a bad idea to say that. Then you got the Lays of Marie de France, really cool. Kind of like a... It's fun because I remember having fun reading this, but if you asked me like to recap some things, I don't know if I'd be able to tell you. But I had to read that for class. I got this as a birthday gift. The dust jacket is up here. This is, hold on, let's see. This is Democracy in America by Alexis de Tocqueville. From what I know, I don't remember the year exactly. I have this really cool Everyman's Library edition with the little built-in strap. But from what I remember, I think it's in the early, what's it called? The early 19th century. This French guy came over here and was like observing our democracy shortly after we gained independence. Got Wallace Stegner's biography. I threw away the dust jacket. I'm not actually a big dust jacket fan, so sometimes I'll just like throw them away, which is probably a sin, or I'll just like kind of stash them somewhere. Got Geography 3, Elizabeth Bishop. That's like an old yearbook. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. I've actually only read The Return of the King. And then this is some stuff that my poetry's been in. Not everything that I'm looking at right now. But you got the, I can't really show you that because that'll dox me. But you got the Southern Review, which I'm not in, but I did submit something one time there, so they sent me a copy. I recently got the Sewanee Review. I don't remember the season. I think it says fall 2025. I also have an edition of the Arkansas International that I helped work on, by the way. Fun fact. Next up, I got Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I'm not a big fan of J.K. Rowling's antics, but Harry Potter made me feel like a kid again for like a few days. Cool little thing, I have Nothing But the Night by John Williams of Stoner fame. Kind of like one of those weird looking, like, looks like it's a shitty book, but it's kind of interesting. It's like a very psychological book. Very different than what he ended up doing. I have Words in the Blood, a collection of Native American short stories. Old Jules, like a frontier tale in Nebraska. Butcher's Crossing of John. I have a bunch of John Williams, by the way, because he died in the same place I'm living right now. So you got East of Eden, John Steinbeck. Probably one of the best books I've read in a minute. Something I want to read again. A Stranger and a Sojourner. This is Peter Calder, a story of a black frontiersman in antebellum Arkansas. Lucky Jim. I don't really remember much about this book. I think it's like British comedy, sort of. You got Rising from the Plains. I think my cat's like meowing off in the distance. Rising from the Plains by John McPhee. I find John McPhee's writing a little bit dry, but maybe that's just because it's like essays and nonfiction and I'm just dumb. You got Stoner of John Williams. I'm not going to talk about that. Masuji Ibuse's Black Rain about World War II. I think he interviews people that... my cats. Yeah, like that's funny. Interviews people that I don't want to know if they were like direct victims of the bombing in Hiroshima, but like after. You got Dumas, The Count of Monte Cristo. I've actually never finished this. This is like almost 400 pages in, and that's the dent that I've made. Literary criticism, The Well-Wrought Urn and Cleanth Brooks. You got Shakespeare, King Lear, Macbeth. This is my girlfriend's book, I swear. And then I got some Helsing 1, 2, 3, and 6. I'm kind of into vampire stuff, so that's cool. I got The Arden Shakespeare's King Richard. Got As You Like It. Off camera, I have Merchant of Venice. I got For Whom the Bell Tolls. Teaching a Stone to Talk. This is a book I had to read for a class and ended up, I read it digitally, but then I ended up finding this in like a really cool thrift store near me. And then I also have The Tempest by Shakespeare. A lot of Shakespeare. I'm an English major student person. So a lot of that is, and then off camera, I have like a holy Bible that I grew up in the Episcopalian church. I'm not really currently, I just zoomed way. But sometimes I look back at the Bible just to like brush up on things. Like I said, The Merchant of Venice is off camera, and Hayden Carruth's Scrambled Eggs and Whiskey is off camera. But very modest collection. Oh, I forgot that's not even all. I'm funny. Because I was wrapping up. So this is a book my grandma gave me I've never read, Nora Roberts' Sanctuary. You got The Arsonist City by Hala Alyan. Very good Arab American literature. You got Annie Proulx's Barkskins. Really liked that. I tried to reread it and I couldn't actually make it through. Butter, kind of DNF'd it. I like the cover. Homer's The Iliad. I need to reread this. I read like a quarter of it and dropped it, but it was a very busy time in my life. The Control of Nature, John McPhee. Maximum City by Seketu Mehta. I've never heard of that. You got Nervous People and Other Satires by Mikhail Zoshenko. Contemporary Japanese Literature. This is a book that's really interesting. I haven't read it yet, but it is Vera Britton's The Testament of Youth. And I think it's like an account of a nurse in World War II. I think she was studying in college and dropped out to go serve the country as a nurse. It's like a memoir. You got Shakespeare's Hamlet, Fitzgerald's Great Gatsby. You got Dante's Inferno. I don't really like this Signet Classic edition. I mean, I'm sure it does its job, but I kind of want the John Ciardi translation, like the big book. You got The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich. You got Atlas Shrugged. And hear me out. I bought this book probably damn near 10 years ago when I was playing BioShock. And if you know BioShock and you know video games, you know truly why I have this. I don't have it for probably for the more relevant reasons today. That's all I'm going to say. I've never actually read more than like 20 pages of this book. You got The Skin and Its Girl by Sarah Seifert. Pretty good book. And then you have like a Hogwarts cookbook that my girlfriend bought. But yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Short little video. Thank you.